For cheap and reliable Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins, check out EasyMut.com and use code SPORTS for 5% off your entire order. What's up guys, it's Duke back here from SportsGamers.com, and in today's Madden 21 tip, I'm going to break down the most explosive run scheme in the entire game. You cannot stop this scheme, guys. It is absolutely lethal. Now, we're going to be in the I almost said Oakland, but the Las Vegas Raiders playbook on offense. Once again, guys, just like last year, this is one of the best, if not the best playbooks in the game. And we're actually going to be taking advantage of a personnel audible scheme to really make this pop. So we're going to be coming out in the gun trips tight end, but audibling down into the single back wing flex close. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that in a second here. But basically, you want to make sure in the single back wing flex close that you set the dive and the stretch as some audibles. Now, in order to audible down, what you're going to need to do is you're going to want to put a tight end in the game as a receiver. I'm putting him in the slot. And what this does is this gives us two tight ends, two receivers, and one running back in the game. So instead of being able to audible to three receiver formations, we can actually audible to two tight end, two receiver formations. Now, this does a lot of good stuff for us because, like, defensively this year, people are still trying to sit in a lot of dollar, dime, nickel type sets. So obviously, if you see someone coming out in dollar, all you have to do, or a dime, big dime, whatever, you can just audible down to the dive really fast, and they're going to have no chance. Even if they pinch their D-line, there's no way you can stop dive from this type of defense without us getting a nice 4 or 5 plus yards at the minimum. Now, before we go any further in the scheme, I just want to remind you guys to please subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button in the corner of the video. It just takes a second, and turn your notifications on so you don't miss out when our videos go live. If you're liking our content, make sure to hit that like button. It helps us support us and be able to bring you guys more videos on a daily basis that we've been doing. Now, in the meantime, if you're looking to get better at Madden 21 and you like our YouTube content, check out our premium members-only content on SportsGamers.com. We have the best Madden 21 tips and ebooks, offense and defense. We have you guys covered. We actually just released our Madden 21 Big Nickel Over G defensive guide. If you guys are looking to get better at defense, this is the guide for you. It's only $17.99, and we show you guys all the best ways to blitz, play coverage D, and stop every run in the game. Best of all, it's easy setups that you can disguise to make everything look the same. Big Nickel Over G right now is one of the most popular and effective defenses in the game. In fact, like, a ton of pros run it because it's really that good. Now, getting back into the scheme, I just want to show you one more time. If you catch someone in a defense like this, dollar or big dime, or really any sort of just dime type defense in general, I mean, the dive is basically going to be guaranteed yards, man. There's no way that they can stop that. Now, what's really good about this is that eliminates the dime, dollars, big dimes, all that's gone. Now, it pretty much also eliminates a lot of the nickel stuff too, but you still can run certain nickel formations against this, like big nickel over G. Nickel normal, those are balanced enough defenses that you can run them. Now, what's also really good about this is because we're coming out on trips tight end, you definitely cannot just come out in a 3-4, which has some really good run D. You can't come out in 3-4 because we can just pass the ball too easily. So honestly, guys, the formations that really can do a decent job of defending both the run and the pass right now are probably going to be like 4-6 normal, big nickel over G, nickel normal, that type of stuff. So, like, for instance here, let's look at nickel normal. So we come right back out in trips tight end, and what you're going to want to do is basically take a look at how the defense plays you. Now, like, a lot of people are going to go ahead and pinch their D-line, and if they pinch their D-line, I probably want to recommend running dive. I would go with stretch. And the way I determine which way to run stretch is I literally just look at the defense. Here, with nickel normal, and like a lot of the defenses people are playing right now, like big nickel over G, nickel normal, whatever, obviously the side of the defense that has the nickel back, in this case is the left, is the strong side of the defensive formation. So we want to run away from the nickel back. So here, we have the two tight ends to the right, the nickel back's on the left, so we want to run this to the right because that's just going to give us a numbers advantage with our blocking. So as you guys can see here, it's very easy to just get outside and get good yardage. If you take a look at the replay, you're going to see that our two tight ends do a really good job of setting, basically getting their blocks on the edge, allowing us to get outside of the furthermost defender, which is why we're able to get an easy, chunk gain right here to the outside of the field. So you guys can take a look. basically the tight end blocks the corner and the inside tight end blocks the linebacker enough to where, we're easily able to run around this corner here and, get some nice yardage. So this is a super easy run scheme because all you really have to do is identify the weak side of the defensive formation and go away from it. So like here, let's say that they flip their formation, right? Maybe, they got the nickel back on the right. Okay, so in that case, we're going to just go ahead and we're going to run stretch. We're going to flick the right analog stick, the playmaker, to the left. The reason why I really like this run scheme is because the single back wing flex close not only gives you the stretch and a dive, but the formation itself is extremely balanced. You have 2 tight ends to the right, but then also 2 receivers to the left. So we can run either way with basically very good effectiveness, similar effectiveness, so you can't load up one side or the other. So guys, you can clearly see we still have the numbers advantage on the left. That way, we got the 2 receivers, the nickelback's on the right, so basically we just have to run the ball to the left. Now this time they actually did a good job, the defense did, of kind of blowing up the edge. So, instead of trying to get around the edge, I just kind of took it between the guard and the tackle, cut it back up the middle for another nice run. And I just really enjoy this type of scheme because right now, I promise you guys, nickel normal and big nickel over G are very popular formations. So all you really have to do is run away from the nickel back. Again, most people are trying to pinch their D-line, and we'll go big nickel over G right here. Because when you pinch the D-line, that, gives you a good, ability to stop the shotgun runs, but then also you can set up some blitzes off of it a lot easier than if you don't pinch the D-line. So most people do that. But that's what leaves the stretch so open. Now, if they don't pinch their D-line like you do here, you guys can see they just are leaving it spread out. That is when you can run dive. And, dive is not going to necessarily always be a chunk run for you because, like, right there you saw we just got about 4 or 5 yards. But, 4 or 5 yards, what that does is it moves the chains and controls the clock. And at a certain point, they're not going to let you keep getting 4 or 5 yards every time. So they're gonna pinch the D-line, and then you're going to be able to get bigger gains. Again, same concept here. If we see them, no matter which defense they're in, if they're in man, zone, doesn't matter. If we see them pinch their D-line, simply I'm going to look to run stretch to the the formation that has a bigger numbers advantage. So like right here, even if they bring their safety down the box, still you guys can see there's 3 extra defenders over here, the 2 corners and the safety. Over here, we just got the 2 DBs. So, honestly, regardless, it's smart to run to the left here. Now, there are certain motions you guys can use, and I'm going to show you guys in a second here, to give yourselves even more numbers advantages. Guys, like I said, there are some motions you can use with this scheme. It kind of just depends what type of defense they're in. Here, we're in a cover 3 zone. Now, generally against zone, what you want to do is you want to motion an offensive player to the side that you want to run the ball to, because when they're in zone, the defenders that are matched up on your receivers or tight ends, they won't follow them across the formation like they will in man. So here, knowing that they're in zone, we do see the safety in the box on the right, but I believe they have the nickel back. Yeah, he's on the left. So I want to run to the right. What I can do is I can just motion this receiver over to give me an extra blocker on that edge, because as you guys can see there, the DB is not going to follow him. So now I'm just able to get an extra blocker to the outside, and the defense over pursued, and I was able to cut outside for a nice run. Now guys, these runs are also good against cover 0 style blitzes. Cover 0 man-to-man blitzes are kind of, something that you will see here and there. They're not, the best, but they definitely can be effective this year. So if you see someone blitzing you, the stretch is always the play you want to go to, because the stretch is going to be able to pop off for big plays a lot of times against the blitz. Now, what I like to do, if they're a man, especially if they're blitzing, I'll just go ahead and audible the stretch and just quick snap them, just like this. And as you guys can see, there's really, no way in the world they're going to be able to slow down, because when they're blitzing you like that, all the defenders are up on the line. The blitzers are, trying to, come through the gaps. That's a very over-aggressive defense, and when we're running a stretch to the outside, we're going to take advantage of that, and we're going to be able to get big gains. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little run scheme. It's extremely explosive because you're coming on trips tight end, which gives you the ability to pass, but then you also are able to audible down on the single back wing flex close and give them a really dominant run game. At the end of the day, there's not really a good way to defend this type of offense this year, which is why you see a lot of the pro players coming out in heavy pass formations like trips and bunch, but putting either another tight end or running back in the game, which then gives them the ability to audible down to running formations. So then the defense has to be able to defend the run, and the pass at the same time, which on this year's game is extremely difficult because you can't really play many formations this year that are able to stop both.